Hello, 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 hello. It is Thursday and it's a new episode of Chattingz with Bernie. We've rebranded. No longer chit chat with Bernie Bella. It's just Chattingz with Bernie. It's been a while since I've been on with you guys. It's been a long time. So we're back. Thursdays at 9. So let's enjoy this new episode of Chattings with Bernie. I'm your host, Bernadine, and welcome. This is officially episode 36. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Say hello, share the live. Let me know what's happening. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. We stream live every Thursday at 9 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And a few of the topics we'll be discussing tonight are the slap seen and heard around the world. My boyfriend said my private parts looks ugly. Not my boyfriend, but man injects cocaine into his penis and it goes black and starts to rot. And 12 and 14-year-old shoots himself while on live. And Tabby from the Mighty Diamond was shot and killed earlier this week. So those are some of the topics that we will be discussing tonight. So stay tuned in. As usual, we welcome your thoughts and opinions. So, drop a comment when you feel like it. Previous episodes can be found on YouTube and on our YouTube channel. So visit the channel, like, subscribe, and set your notification bell. And so, just so that you can get your notifications when we go live. Again, this is a talk show where we discuss sports, politics, current affairs, entertainment, gossip, and news, and a little bit of what's happening around the world. So we are going to start this evening with our entertainment section. Hi, Enid. How are you? Welcome back. Yes, thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you. So, Colleen, Donnie. Hi, guys. It's funny. It's not showing up in my comment section. I don't know why that is. So I am going to have to figure out why that's not showing, because your comments are not showing up on my other screen where it's supposed to show. So we'll just try to work along with it and see what's happening, why that is. Anyways, we're going to start with the entertainment section. And, earlier this week, Tabby Diamond, a founding member and lead singer of the Mighty Diamonds group, was shot and killed. Police report that the 67-year-old singer, whose real name is Donald Orlando Shaw, was among a group of people who were gathered at a section of the community when gunmen opened fire from a passing motor vehicle. Tabby Diamond and another man whose identity has not yet been released were pronounced dead at the hospital. The shooting has left members of the reggae industry in shock and grief, as Tabby Diamond was known to be a staunch Rastafarian who embraced the philosophy of peace and love. Police are saying that his killing may be gang related and he has nothing to do with it, but it may be his son who is in prison right now. There's, some gang war going on, and they're speculating, or they've reported that that's a part of their investigation because, the father is not in any war with anybody. Everybody in the community say that, he's a good person. They like him and all of that stuff. But apparently, there's always that one family member. So that's how it is. And, he was only 67 years old. So basically had, a lot more living left to do. They had tours they were going to do. They have, I think their 47th or 48th album was coming out, and all of the other stuff that they had planned on doing this year. As the other two members of the band have reported that they'd plan on doing a lot of stuff. So Sad for him. Sad for him. Very, very sad. Moving on to our little friend here, Mr. Cure. So he was found guilty and has been sentenced to 6 years in prison in the Netherlands for attempted manslaughter. He will get credit for time served, which was 5 months. So we're not quite sure how that will work. If it's double time for what he served already, how will be calculated, or if he's going to be serving the whole 6 years or whatever. What we do know is that he'll be serving 6 years in prison, and after which he will be deported to Jamaica. Now, anything in between that, we don't know. So we'll see what happens. And, it's the second time that he's been sentenced to substantial time behind bars. Let's hope that this time he'll learn a little lesson. Let's hope that he'll take anger management courses while he's in prison so that, he won't do this again. I heard the voice note that was circulating, where he threatened to do whatever to the guy and all of that stuff. And apparently that particular voice note was also played in the court, and that the judge took that into consideration when he was sentencing him. So again, not good for him. Staying in the entertainment section, Lakeisha Williams, the wife of tennis coach Richard Williams, and Richard Williams is the father of Venus and Serena Williams, the tennis phenoms. Lakeisha is his third wife, and she's significantly younger than he is. So she just made a big decision, according to the Daily Mail. She's 43, and she's asked a judge in Palm Beach, Florida, to stop the divorce from Richard Williams, who is 80. So Richard Williams is 80 and she's 43, and they've been together for at least 8-9 years. She insists that she and Richard are enjoying a great sex life. They got married in 2019, which was 7 years after Richard Williams divorced Oracene Price, who is the mother of Serena and Venus. Lakeisha and Richard, they have one son, and they separated in 2017. However, because Lakeisha does not want to get divorced from Richard, she said that she believes that they can reconcile, and they're currently engaging in an active marital life. Not quite sure how, why. And she's saying that, this includes having regular weekly sexual relations, including but not limited to, up until January 9th, 2022, the night before filing the motion. So apparently, the man who's had a stroke and, barely have speech function and all of that stuff, is able to get it up, get it going, according to her. So she's also blaming Venus and Serena for restricting or reducing their dad's financial outlay. So apparently, she's not getting as much financial support as she thinks that she should get. Mind you, the income that Richard is getting is actually coming from Venus and Serena, because he was their manager and coach. So, but we'll see how that plays out and go from there. Hey, Liz, how are you? Okay, so yours show up, but Enid comment didn't show up on screen. I don't know why that is. Interesting. I have to go take a look into that and see what's happening. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for checking in. Hey, Michael. How are you? Okay, so we're moving on from Richard Williams and Lakeisha to Helmut Huber, who is the husband of Susan Lucci. The 84-year-old TV producer passed away, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And it was confirmed by the family's publicist. Apparently, he died peacefully. Oh, it was on Monday. He died peacefully on Monday in his Long Island home. No, everybody knows Susan Lucci. She was on the was it All My Children, one of the soap operas she was on. Apparently, she was married to Helmut since 1969, so that would make them being married for 53 years. That's a long time. That is a long time. But, they made it work till death did they part. And we will wish the family condolences and such things. And some sad news came out about Bruce Willis yesterday. He's decided to retire from acting, and that was because he was recently diagnosed with a illness called aphasia. And aphasia is a medical condition that affects a person's ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. So what that means is at some point he will no longer be able to speak. At some point he will no longer be able to write or even understand what you're saying to him. And as an actor, that means he won't be able to memorize the scripts that he needs to memorize and to act and to verbalize and all of that kind of stuff. So that's sad for him and his family, that this is what's happening with him right now. But at least for right now, he's still alive. He's going well, and apparently all is well. One of the ways that this particular medical condition comes about is usually after a stroke. So usually after a stroke, something happens in the brain where people develop aphasia. So we're not quite sure if he had a stroke at some point, and that's as a result of it. But I do recall that for the last maybe 3-4 years, people had mentioned that he wasn't the same when he was on set and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what's happening with him, and he's decided to retire from showbiz. So let's see who else is coming. Hi, Angie. Hi, Ross, Lebon. That's Doreen. Hey, Doreen. How are you guys? Thanks for checking in. Thanks for saying hi. Hey, Teddy. I see you watching. Drop a comment. Say hi. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly and see everything clear and all is well. We're going to touch on our sports section right now, and we're going to start with our Raptors, who they are doing very, very well right now. They whooped Timberwolves' ass last night. It was a good game. They won by like 23 points. Their last 4 games was played at home. They won all 4 games. They're currently 6th in the Eastern Conference. So if we were to go to playoffs today, they wouldn't have to go into the play-in. They'd be in the playoffs. So fingers crossed. They're 4.5 game out of the top, but as long as they get up into the top 4, then they'll have home court, going forward. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Besides, I have a bet riding on this, so I need them to move up 2 and go up 2 more and go in the 4th position, and then all will be well with that. Maple Leafs are doing well. They won their last 2 games. They're presently sitting 3rd in the Atlantic Division. They too are heading to the playoffs. So hopefully they know what to do when they do get to the playoffs, as opposed to being eliminated in the first round or such. They can actually make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or the Stanley Cup Finals and do something. The Toronto FC, they are presently sitting 12th in the conference out of 14 teams. The season is young. They've only played 4 games so far. They've won 1, draw 1, and had 2 losses. So their next match is on Saturday. So hopefully, they'll start winning so that they can start moving up into the standings. And special mention to our Canadian men's team, who secured their spot to go to the World Cup in October in Qatar. It's the first time that they're going to be doing so since 1986. So, congrats to them. And if you're planning on going to Qatar, there's no hotels available right now. It's Airbnb. Just putting it out there. So, book your ticket, go support your peeps. Alrighty, and that's it for entertainment section. We are going to start with the news, and man, what's happening in the news? Lots and lots and lots of things happening right now. So, Linez Escobar, the lovely little lady you see on screen, her nickname is Diablita or Diablita, which is Spanish for little devil. And that's the name that prosecutors have given her because they allege that she acted as diabolical murderer when she lured a group of young men to a wooded area in central Islip back in 2017. She's currently on trial right now. The trial, they estimated that it'll run for 2 weeks. She lured them back in 2017 into the woods. She told them that they were going to meet up to smoke weed. And apparently that's not what happened. So the unsuspecting victims are Michael Lopez, Justin Livicura, Jorge Tigre, and Jefferson Villalobos. She lured them into a wooded area in central Islip, but soon after the young men arrived, they were beaten and hacked to death with machetes, knives, and tree limbs by more than a dozen members of the MS-13 gang. And so for those who don't know, the MS-13 gang is a very famous gang both in Mexico with offshoots in the U.S. And they're very ruthless. Like, people talk about the gang, them at Jamaica, and how, them do this and do that and do whatever, but they have nothing on the MS-13 gang that's out of Mexico. Nothing. Hey, cuz, Sherman, how are you? Tuning in from ATL. So their mangled bodies were discovered near a soccer field on April 12, 2017. There was a fifth victim who escaped, and that's how she was identified and caught. So the judge said Escobar, who was 17 at the time when in 2017, when this happened, instigated the murders along with another juvenile female by locating photographs of some of the victims, flashing MS-13 gang signs on social media, and then showing those photographs to MS-13 members. They claim Escobar was an associate of MS-13 who was trying to curry favor with the gang by luring the young men to their deaths. It's unclear whether the victims were rival gang members or just MS-13 wannabes. 4 other members of the gang are also accused of carrying out the fatal attack, and they too are awaiting their trial. 2 of them have already been sentenced to 50 and 55 years in prison. One of them, Jorge Portillo, was just 15 years old at the time of the killing, and he pleaded guilty to the charges of murder, racketeering, and conspiracy in 2019. Escobar has pleaded not guilty to the federal charges, so she will be tried as an adult in federal court. So she was 17 when it happened. She decided to plead not guilty. She's not going to see the light of day again outside. She won't ever be free again. The other guy that was 15, he pleaded guilty. He got 50 years. He may come out at age 60. Who knows? Maybe not. But that's what's happening with that. So we're going to circle around now to New Orleans. And this is so sad. This particular story is sad in so many different ways. So New Orleans man has been charged with a drive-by shooting of a man who allegedly killed his son and stepdaughter. So Bokio Johnson, who is the guy on screen, he's been charged with Wednesday's fatal shooting of the man who confessed to murdering his son and stepdaughter. New Orleans police have said Carter confessed to killing Brianna Brown and her stepbrother Caleb Johnson, and wounding a third person in a gun sale gone bad last March. I actually did that story last year because there was a gun sale and, you know, he wanted to rob them, and it went bad, and he shot them, killed them. And the father now decided that they're now in court for trial, and the father decided that him want him one kind of justice, and his kind of justice was to kill the guy who killed his son. So apparently, he would follow them when court's finished, or prior to going to court, he would follow them and see what route they took and stuff. So at one point, while they were driving home, stop at the stoplight, he pulled up, rolled down his window, and just fired into the vehicle and drove away. So that's what's happened. So now he's going to be on trial for killing the guy who killed his son and stepdaughter. So I don't know how, I guess within himself, he'll be satisfied knowing that he took his own kind of revenge. And, you as a parent, to sit there and watch the person who killed your child still live and enjoy their life, and even to go to jail, you're still alive, and he doesn't have a son. The man do what I'm supposed to do, and that's it. That's what he did. So they've charged him for second-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder. So we'll see how that plays out. And this other story coming up, we're going to slide around to Kansas. And the Kansas City Police Department had to pay $50,000 to a woman who claimed that a police officer groped her buttocks and vagina during a 2019 traffic stop. Kelly Coates was with her boyfriend and family members when she was pulled over by police on January 5th, 2019, after turning onto 28th Street from Virginia Avenue. After ordering her out of the vehicle, Officer Tyler Gilnett inappropriately placed his hands in her crotch area and then into her underwear. So she said that he actually, on the front end of her, he dipped his hand all the way, he was searching, he dipped his hand all the way down into her panties to search her. And then what I saw the video when he was searching, he was patting her down behind, and when he searched her butt, he went up like this, and his partner stopped him and said, "No, stop searching, stop doing that." Because apparently when a male police is searching a female suspect, they're supposed to search with their hands like this. He was searching with their hands like this, with his hands like this, and cupping her. So, and I saw her reaction, and it wasn't very good. So his partner stopped him at that time and told him to stop. And luckily, there was also a body cam video to show that when she made the complaint to say that he touched her inappropriately while searching her, there was also a body cam video to back that up. So he was charged. He was released from the force, and apparently he was also charged with drug trafficking for allegedly seizing marijuana while handling cases, but then giving it to a woman he was in a relationship with. So he resigned from the department, pled guilty to official misconduct in 2021. The man wanted a slap. The man wanted a slap. So we're going to circle around to Jamaica. And this is such a sad story for this guy in Clarendon. So 4 days after celebrating her wedding anniversary with her husband of 4 years, a Clarendon woman's life was thrown into chaos after her partner was murdered, allegedly by her 16-year-old son, following a dispute over the use of a bathroom. The incident, which claimed the life of Conroy Jeffrey Morgan, took place in Environs, Four Paths in the parish on Monday. Reports from the police are that about 6:40 p.m., Morgan and the teen were at home when an argument developed between them. Morgan used a black kitchen knife to stab the teen to his left hand, causing a wound that bled. And the teen reportedly used a brown-handled kitchen knife to stab Morgan to the left side of his neck. The man ran through the back door and fell to the ground. He was then transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The teen has since been arrested, and relatives are saying that Morgan, the stepfather, and his stepson had a long-standing feud that spanned several years. They're stating and they're theorizing and talking, said the stepson was jealous of the stepfather. Apparently the son don't want anybody with his mother. Him get jealous, him no want him mother to have no man or whatever. So him and the stepfather have had issues, problems over the years. They never like each other. They always argue and all of that stuff. So this is what it boils down to. They celebrated their 4th wedding anniversary last Thursday, and by Monday, his stepson killed him over the use of the bathroom. So that's very sad. So, but I'm also thinking, with all that's going on, knowing say you and the son no get along, knowing that you have to live in another house with the son and whatever, would you still marry the mother? Like, let me know, guys. Drop your comments. Let me know if you have a partner that your child doesn't like, and that partner doesn't get along with your child. Would you still marry to the partner? Would you even stay with the partner, or would you say, yo, it now works, so we are gonna let go and move on? Because you can't live for your kid, but at the end of the day, you still have your life to live. So if you're picking like your partner, you're staying with the partner or you're leaving the partner. Sherman said, bright and bright. Well, that took us a him first stab the stepson. So I guess there could be a case made for self-defense in that instance, right? There could be a case made for that. So we'll have to see what happens and see if the stepson is going to get away with, a self-defense charge, since the man stabbed him first. Hey, Madam German, how are you? Thanks for checking in. I think I saw. Hey, Danae, how are you? Thanks for checking in. I almost want to say Dana, and I know that's not your name. Anyways, we're staying in Jamaica, and this one is so sad because a long-standing member of Cassava Peace, Incent Andrew, was recently murdered. She's, let's see. Oh, Liz says something. Liz says it depends on the age of the children. If they're of age, we cannot choose for our kids. So why should that child have a say? That's true. But on the other hand, if the kid live in your house, if they're of age and they live in their own house, that's different. But if everybody live under the same roof, where you're not gonna really have any peace, because people are gonna have issues and all of them, something, would you still do it? Sherman says, as a mother, I would, but I set boundaries and address myself, my son only. Okay. So are you saying, Sherman, that as a mother, you wouldn't date the person that your kids don't like? Or you would still date the person that your kid like, but just set boundaries and know, say your kid have to respect your wishes? And then Liz said, then the kids need to work and take care of their life. That's true. Because if them want their yard, them have to go do something. If them want to have a say in whatever, if them don't want to see you with somebody, then them need to live on them own and leave you alone. So that's that part. So yeah, that part I can see. That part, yeah. So moving on. So we're staying in Jamaica. So residents of the hotbed community of Cassava Peace in St. Andrew are reeling over the recent murder of a prominent resident and business owner. The dead woman has been identified as Lorna Johnson. Police report that she was attacked by gunmen and shot in the head minutes after she shut down her bar at Glen Drive in the community. The men approached her and attempted to wrest away her personal effects before peppering her with bullets. She died on the spot. Apparently, the community members are saying that Lorna was a good person. She always looked out for the younger ones and always encouraged the youth to stay on the straight and narrow. We don't know why they killed her, but we know she was not afraid to call out wrong when she saw it. And apparently, she's been operating the same bar for over 30 years. So, imagine you leave your bar and man come, boy, I don't understand. I don't understand. Riskless say respect my life. Enid said true list. Enid, I don't know why your comments aren't showing up on my computer. I can only see it on the phone. Not quite sure why that is. Anyways, we're going to Milwaukee. And I am not quite sure what's happening with kids nowadays, but man, the stories for kids nowadays is not good. So 2 teen girls were arrested in the abduction of a 3-month-old Milwaukee boy after they told his mother they were homeless and needed a place to stay. The teens, aged 14 and 16, are suspected of abducting Anthony L. Crudup Jr. from his Milwaukee home early Wednesday. The boy's mother, Shatina Curiton, said she had never met the girls before, but she let them stay at her home after they told her they were homeless and being victimized by sex traffickers. They told me they were being molested and that they were being human trafficked, and their mom was making them do things with her boyfriend. But when the mom woke at 2 a.m. Wednesday, her son and the teens were gone. An Amber Alert was issued to track down Anthony, who was found unharmed Wednesday afternoon at a home just blocks away. The teen said no one believed her claims that she was being sexually abused and thought if she showed up with her baby, her accusations would be taken seriously. The 2 teens were taken into custody in the boy's abduction, along with 3 Milwaukee men on unrelated charges. When asked why she believed the teens allegedly took her son, Curtin replied, I guess apparently one of the girls wanted to act like she was pregnant or wanted to act like it was her baby. How you just go allow strangers up in your house? They could have killed her. They could have killed her baby. How do you not call the police? How you just allow stranger up in your house to come take away? Oh man, I don't understand, Pitney. I don't understand people. I don't understand people, but we're going to circle around to Ontario, where the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Premier of Ontario, Dougie Ford, announced an agreement that will deliver affordable, inclusive, and high-quality childcare for families in Ontario. So Ontario is one of the last provinces to implement this. They've been working on this since 2017, and it's a 5-year deal to reduce childcare fees in the short term and eventually deliver $10 a day childcare for Ontario families and create 86,000 new licensed early learning and childcare spaces in the province. The agreement will reduce childcare fees for children under 6 years old on average by 25% as of April 1st, which is tomorrow, saving Ontario families an average of about $2,200 per child. By the end of the year, the fees will be further lowered and families will see a total reduction of 50% on average, saving on average of about $6,000 per child. This agreement will deliver an average $10 a day childcare for Ontario families by the end of March 2026. Hey, daycare expensive enough. Me sorry for y'all who have pitney nowadays because daycare not normal enough. All when you have all 2-3 pitney, you might as well stay home and just make government pay you, because the amount of money what you have to put out for daycare, it's not normal. So being able to eventually get to a place where you can pay $10 a day per child is going to definitely benefit quite a few people. It'll make life that much easier for so many people. I'm not quite, they didn't state whether there'll be an income cutoff for those who can apply. They didn't state that. I didn't see that anywhere. But, being able to access $10 a day daycare for kids under 6, that's awesome because, what's that? At age 6, they're in grade 1, so they're in school full time. So your daycare costs are lessened at that point. So we're going to circle back to Jamaica. And I thought this news was quite interesting. Hey, Princess, how are you? Thanks for checking in. Thought this news was quite interesting because Marksman Guardsman is being sued by the National Housing Trust because they used to take deductions from their employees that should have been turned over to National Housing Trust, and they did not turn it over to National Housing Trust. So for those who don't know, when you live and work in Jamaica, you can pay into, it's essentially like an insurance savings that can help you purchase a house later on when you meet certain additional qualifications. And it's similar to probably EI up here, because EI, they collect it and pay it to the government. In this case, the payments are collected and paid to National Housing Trust. Well, apparently, this security company was not paying the money over to the NHT. So right now, National Housing Trust is seeking to recover over $806 million in outstanding employee contributions, including interest, for the period of 2000 to 2016. And there are people who have paid. How that came to light is that people who have paid and thought that they now qualify to get the house and went to NHG to say, hey, I've made these payments. I should now be qualified. Let me see let's see what's happening. Let's see if I can purchase a house. NHG said, we don't have no money for you. We don't see anything. Investigation starts. More people came forward to say, hey, we paid, and they couldn't find anything there. So that trial's been going on in Jamaica for a while, and I'll follow up to see how it ends. But the initial amount is $406 million, but with interest and additional costs, it's now up to $806 million. Sharon says, damn, even in Jamaica, that's a lot of money. That is quite a lot of money. That is a lot of money. That's about what, 70 million Canadian? That's a lot of money. Or even 50 mil Canadian, probably 50, 60 million Canadian. That's a lot of money. So we'll see what happens with that. We're going to circle around to St. Louis, and this is a particularly sad story. Two cousins were live streaming from a St. Louis apartment when one child fatally shot the other before killing herself in what family members says was a tragic accident. Police are still investigating the incident where the 12-year-old girl, Paris Harvey, shot a 14-year-old boy, Quaron Harvey, before shooting herself. Police initially described it as a murder-suicide, but the family say they know that it was an accident. The girl's grandmother, Susan Dyson, told the Dispatch that she saw the Instagram live video the two cousins were making together at a downtown apartment that the family rented to celebrate March birthdays. It wasn't a situation where they were arguing or anything like that, said Dyson. They were playing with a gun when they shouldn't have been. Of course, they shouldn't have been doing it. I think it just went off. It went off by mistake. They're saying that the cousins were close. They were alone in the bathroom making the video before the mirror, and apparently the gun went off accidentally. And they're saying that, gun went off accidentally. The little boy was shot. And then when Paris went to reach for the gun, it may have gone off accidentally again, ended up killing her. And they're saying that they believe the gun was Quirin's. So they believe that the 14-year-old boy was the owner of the gun. And they're saying both children were shot in the head. It was no murder. It was no suicide. It was a freak accident. I don't know. Mama, what a go on, Sister B, just here listening. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to circle around to Florida. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a bill on Monday that forbids instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through grade 3. The policy that has drawn intense national scrutiny from critics who argue it marginalizes LGBTQ people. The legislation has pushed Florida and DeSantis DeSantis, who may be a potential presidential candidate for 2024. The decision has pushed him to the forefront of the country's culture wars with LGBTQ advocates, students, Democrats, the entertainment industry, and the White House, denouncing what critics have called the Don't Say Gay bill. DeSantis and Republicans have repeatedly said the measure is reasonable and that parents, not teachers, should be broaching subjects of sexual orientation and gender identity with their children. The bill states that classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. I'm of two minds with this situation. Yes, parents at that age too. So kindergarten over here is age 4. So I'm going to do the equation there. So grade 3, you'd be grade 1 is age 6. So grade 3, you'd be 8. So what he's basically saying that from kindergarten to grade 3, which is from age 4 to age 8, teachers should not be teaching kids about sexual orientation, sexual identity, and anything of that matter. I'm trying to figure out if even at that age, if kids even know or can identify what they are other than I'm a boy, you're a girl, or I'm a boy, I'm a girl, whatever. Like, can kids that age actually state by age 8, age 4, nah, by age 8, can a kid actually stand up and say, I'm gay? So I'm of two minds with this thing. I don't like Ron DeSantis for obvious reasons because of other things that he's done, but I'm a little, little bit conflicted over this particular situation. But we're moving on to Memphis. And a 3-year-old boy in Memphis is dead after he accidentally shot and killed himself on Sunday. The child's mother, Tanisha Jackson, rushed him to the hospital with a gunshot wound to his head. He died in the hospital. Investigators said they later found that the child was under the care of his uncle when he and his 4-year-old brother were in Jackson's room, where he discovered an unsecured AR-15 under a pile of clothing. Jackson was out getting food with a friend while the uncle was asleep at the time of the incident. According to the affidavit, when she arrived home, the affidavit says Jackson called Memphis police and headed to the hospital. She has been charged with criminally negligent homicide. The accused gun owner, Tedrick Butler, is facing several charges after investigators issued a search warrant for the home in the Whitehaven area. Investigators said they found spent cartridges, casings behind the home, 2 AR-style pistol, a Glock 9mm pistol that was illegally converted to fully automatic, a backpack containing marijuana and additional marijuana in the closet. While in custody, Butler allegedly admitted to leaving the AR-15 in Jackson's bedroom and ownership of the backpack and other weapons. Police says he also admitted to removing the weapons from the bedroom prior to the search. He is also charged with criminally negligent homicide, possession of prohibited weapons, possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, tampering with evidence or fabricating evidence, and possession of a controlled substance. Again, case of another child killing himself by a gun that he should not have access to at all. At all. Anyways, we are going to moving on to Wyoming and talk about going to the extreme into because you don't want to pay child support. So 26-year-old Senenta Parks shot and killed his 2-year-old daughter, Khalees Brewer, because he didn't want to pay child support. He then shot himself, but he survived. He is now in court on trial for killing his 2-year-old child because he did not want to pay child support. The only good thing about it is, where he is in jail, he doesn't have to pay child support. Sad part is, his daughter had to lose her life. All it matters to do is walk away. You don't want to pay child support? Walk away. Go away. Move on. So, they also arrested the mother because while he's presently, this particular person is presently in court, his trial is ongoing, and a fight broke out with the members of his mother's family and Senator family. So they did arrest the mother as well. She's since been released, and I don't know how, like, as a mother, how you think, how you come back from knowing that your child's father killed your child because he didn't want to pay you child support. I don't know how. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think, because this is crazy. Cray. This is crazy. We're going to circle around to Washington, and U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday signed into law a bill that finally makes racist lynchings a federal hate crime, ending more than a century of delays in outlawing the symbol of what he called pure hate. And then people will say, well, do they still lynch people? Officially, no. Unofficially, yes. So lynching was a part of how they killed people in the U.S. back, between 1865 and 1950. Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black boy that was murdered back in the 1950s, was a part of the process that galvanized activists to try to get this particular law out, this particular act outlawed. I know there was a Jamaican guy recently that went hunting with his friends, and they came back and he didn't. They claimed they couldn't find him, and when he was found, he was hanging from a tree. So lynching still happens after the death of George Floyd last year. There was lynching in Minnesota during that time as well. So, this is long overdue to get this passed, and we'll see what happens. Circling around to Ontario, and apparently gunmen drove down to London, Ontario from the GTA to kill a young mother in broad daylight and then immediately fled the city and later abandoned their stolen car. This shocking homicide investigation started back in September when nurse Linda Cruz Marquez was killed at around 7:50 p.m. on September 10th, 2021, as she arrived at her home on Waterhope Drive in northwest London. According to London police, she was shot multiple times while inside her car. Police crews transported her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. They said that the police are now saying that they believe the gunman traveled to London from the GTA. That's vague because GTA could be, Vaughan, Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, Oakville. And yeah, so they're looking for a black 2016 Volkswagen. Actually, the killers were in a black 2016 Volkswagen Jetta that was found on September 15th, abandoned in a wooden area on a side road in southeast London. Police said they now believe the car was previously stolen from Bluffers Park in Scarborough on September 5th, and they released a photograph of two suspects and the cars. It showed two hooded and masked men walking towards Marquez's driveway, both wielding handguns. Police have previously said they are searching for three suspects in the killing. They're not quite sure what's the motive behind Linda's murder, why she was murdered, or anything like that. So this story is still ongoing, so I will keep you guys posted. And we're going to circle around to Kansas, where Herb Robinson was pulled over by two Kansas City police officers in an incident he says was a clear example of racial profiling. Robinson, who is black, is also a sergeant with the Kansas City Police Department, who was wearing his uniform and driving an unmarked police car when he was pulled over. Robinson says he was pulled over for nothing. I'm like that deer in the headlights, he said regarding the incident. My heart's racing and pounding. I'm like, what are you going to do next? Robinson was a police detective at the time last year when he was pulled over. He believes he would not have been pulled over if he was white. After being shown dashcam footage of the traffic stop, civil rights activist says it's an example of the toxic racist culture at the Kansas City Police Department. Well, not just the Kansas City Police Department, but pretty much police department everywhere. Pretty much police department everywhere. So, and the fact that he was black, the fact that he was in his uniform, even though he was in an unmarked police car, but the fact that he was in his uniform and he still thinks that he was racially profiled should tell you something about that as well. So we're going to circle around to Ajax, and this story came out today. So Toronto police have charged 19-year-old Ajax, Ontario woman in 3 grandparent scams over a 2-day period. Investigators say that on March 24th, a 78-year-old woman was contacted by a person claiming to be her grandson who said he had been arrested and was calling from a police station. The phone was passed to another man who posed as a police officer. The police officer told the woman that her grandson needed cash for him to be released from custody. The woman was to then get the cash from the bank. The suspect, a young woman, went to the victim's home to collect the money. Police referred to it as a grandparent scam. An 83-year-old man was also contacted on the same day with the same scam repeated in the same way. Then the following day, on March 25th, police said that the 83-year-old man was contacted again by someone claiming to be an associate of the officer from the day before. The victim was told there was an issue with the bail money and that more money was needed. Police said an arrest was made when the young woman went to the man's home to collect the money. Michelle Jordan, a 19-year-old woman from Ajax, was arrested. She is charged with 3 counts of fraud over $5,000 and 3 counts of possession of proceeds obtained by crime over $5,000. And they're still investigating to find out if there's been any other scams, any other people that have been scammed that they, can be linked to these particular people. 5 people have been arrested in 5 separate incidents since the year started. So again, a grandparent scam is, elderlies being called to say that their grandchild is in some kind of trouble, either with the law, been kidnapped, or stuck somewhere and can't leave, and they need money in order to leave. So you are then required to go get money and pay it to these people. So if any grandparents, anybody on here that gets a phone call that says there's a family member that's in trouble and need money right away, hang up the phone and call that family member before you decide to give your money to somebody that you don't know. I'm just saying. Word of advice. All right. So we're going to go to, actually, we're staying in Ontario. Well, we're doing the federal program right now, and they've changed the requirement for those who are applying for a Canadian passport. So for those of you who have applied for a Canadian passport, if you recall, when you applied for the passport initially, you had to have a guarantor, and that guarantor could not be a member of your family living in the same house. It had to be someone who've known you for more than 2 years, who can testify to your good character, and that person had to be a Canadian citizen as well, because you have to put down their information and stuff on the application. If you were renewing your passport, you didn't have to get a guarantor, but if you're applying for your passport for the first time, you needed to get a guarantor. Well, news came out today that they're changing that. So now when you're applying for your passport, you no longer need to have a guarantor sign your passport application. Providing that you have additional documentations that you can show, and you've been in the country for a while, which you need to be a Canadian citizen, you can now apply for your passport without getting a guarantor and move on. Because sometimes it was hard to get a guarantor, to sign your application. Some people had to bother their family doctor. Sometimes the family doctor charged money for all of that kind of stuff and whatever. So, that was that part. So this is my strange but true section of the program. And I don't know what to say about this part. I really don't know. So I'll just read the story. A man watched his penis turn black and rot after he injected it with cocaine. The horrifying tale was reported by doctors in New York. They said the 35-year-old unnamed man turned up at the emergency room at Bronx Care Hospital Center in agony. He had spent the past 3 days in excruciating and worsening pain in the penis, scrotum, groin area, and his right foot. The pain started almost immediately after he injected the Class A drug cocaine into the dorsal vein of the penis, which runs the full length of the shaft. It wasn't the first time he had chosen the mind-boggling method of delivering his high. The man admitted to having injected cocaine into the dorsal vein at least twice in the past fortnight, although without any obvious problems. He said he had a long history of intravenous drug use, and with most other injection sites damaged, he had turned to one of the only places left, which was his penis. Upon examination, medics discovered swelling, ulcers, a foul-smelling discharge, and necrosis, the medical term for rotting tissue. The unidentified man had a significant history of drug use, but he did not have any STIs. Slowly. The patient refused to have surgery to cut away at the dying tissue of his penis, which was receiving standard wound care. After spending 5 days hooked up to antibiotics, the man was given a 10-day course of pills. His clinical condition improved, but he refused to go for drug rehabilitation treatment and was later lost to follow-up. It's not clear how well the man recovered from the ordeal. Hey, Colleen, how are you? Glad to see that you could join us. Hope all is well. First of all, I did not know that you could prick that vein. It's a pain me, I may not have none. I didn't know that vein could be used as a method of delivering drugs to the system. Imagine I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this. I don't know where to go with it, because me never know say could have done them something there. And to how that particular part of the male anatomy is very tender, like him really have to be high to be able to sustain that pain of pricking that vein on the penis. I don't understand. Colleen says, "Oh, you're still there? Okay, all right. Thanks for checking in. Hopefully, they'll you'll get looked after soon and be able to go home. But thanks for checking in." So we're gonna circle around to the slap that was seen and heard around the world, and everybody's had their comment about it. Everybody's tuned in. Everybody's chimed in. Those who are saying it's fake, those who are saying it's real, those who are saying that Will shouldn't have slapped Chris Rock, those who are saying that Chris Rock should have slapped Will Smith, those who are saying they were traumatized, those who are saying that Wanda Sykes said she was traumatized. Jim Carrey said that he would have charged Will Smith, and he would have also sued him for $200 million. Richard Williams is stating that the Oscar should be taken away from Will Smith. It bad when O.J. Simpson chimed in stating that Will Smith should not have done the slapping. Now, if y'all remember, the reason why O.J. went to jail was because him go beat up man forget back him things them what him thief from him, and he had a gun at the time, and that's why he went to jail. So everybody has a comment, everybody has a reason. Who burn out Will, who burn out Chris, who said this, who said that, and all of the other things that are saying. So Drop your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are with regards to this situation. Let me know where your mind's at. Let me know what you think, whether Will should have done it. People are saying should have waited till him see Chris Rock off stage and all of those things. People are saying how come he never slapped August when August slapped Jada. So people have a lot to say. As for me, I think the joke. If Chris knew about Jada's alopecia situation, then the joke was in poor taste. And I can't see. Some people are saying that Chris didn't write the joke. That I could understand. Some people are saying that Chris didn't know that Jada had alopecia and was very sensitive and, distraught over having the alopecia. I'm calling bullshit on that one, because if you are going to make fun of someone as a comedian, you are going to research that person to see what you can use to make fun of that person. Did he just riff it while on stage? Like, there's so much speculation going on about what happened and why this and why that and whatever. Bottom line is, Will shouldn't have slapped Chris. Period. Will shouldn't have slapped Chris. But Chris shouldn't have made the joke. And my opinion is that people say, oh, and he turned and looked at Jada and saw that Jada wasn't laughing while he got up and whatever. But was Will really laughing at that specific joke, or was it a carryover laugh from the first joke with Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem? Was it that joke he was laughing at carried over into this? And all kinds of different things. All kind of different things. So Shermet says, different opinion. If different opinion, every day you bring bucket to a well, one day the bottom will fall out. Chris will know about Jada condition. Liz says he always talk about black woman and hair, and he's see, that's the other part too, that when I thought about it, I'm like, Chris Rock did a whole documentary on black women and their hair. If anybody should know that you do not joke or tease a black woman about their hair, it should be Chris Rock. The man did a whole documentary about it. How do you not know that commenting about somebody's hair is a trigger? But remember back in 2016 when Jada did boycott the Oscars, and him say she boycott the Oscars, like, how can you boycott something where they've never invited to? And from them time, the little feelings I carry. No, with Will, because the August situation come out and people look upon him as a wuss for say him wife sleep with young boy and him not do nothing about it. Him go sit down and have conversation with her and them talk it out and whatever. So them look upon him like a wuss. So them figure, Chris Rock is also looking like a wuss, because they must say, because of Chris Rock, why Will Smith walk up on stage. I even had a guy said to me, "Oh, if it was one of the female comedians, would he have gone on stage to slap her around?" And I'm like, that is such a ridiculous question. That is if a female comedian had made that particular comment, it would hit Jada differently than a male comedian. And I'm thinking, if any other male comedian had made that joke, it would hit differently. I think Jada was more pissed that it was Chris Rock that made the joke. I think that's where the pissed off came in, because it was Chris Rock that made the joke. Because Chris Rock had made other derogatory jokes against them over the years. So them and Chris Rock are not really friend like that. So I had another guy go, "Oh, I have alopecia." I don't think he would. Chris has been doing too much for too long. That's what I'm saying. I don't think if it was another male comedian, if Will would have slapped him. And I definitely know that if it was a female comedian making a joke about hair, it would have hit Jada different. So the slapping wouldn't have gone on. Should Will have slapped Chris Rock? No. But I've slapped him already. Shouldn't have done it. But it's interesting how very few comedians and very few people have come out in support of Chris Rock. There are girls that have come out and stated that they've worked with him in the past and he's not a nice person to work with. And I always look at those side eyes, because I'm like, okay, why didn't you come out way back when, or over the years you come out? No, me always look for them people side eye. Let's see. Hey, Bob, thanks for checking in. Will is a punk. Is that a question, or are you making a statement? That is why Sharon said Will is weak. Okay, define your idea of Will being weak, Sharon. Why do you say Will is weak? And Bob says he's making a statement that Will is a punk. That's why him slap Chris Rock. He is tired of people thinking that he's a punk. That is why I slap Chris Rock. To show people say he's not a punk. And I honestly think he had an out-of-body experience. I honestly think after him walk up on stage and slap Chris Rock and go back and sit on his seat and say, what the hell did I just do? I honestly think he had an out-of-body experience. Bob says, why didn't he slap August? Okay, let me count the ways of why he didn't slap August. And this is based on me watching Red Table Talk. This is based on me seeing different interviews that they've had. This is me talking from different experiences, different things that they've put out. One, Jada sleep with August for bun back Will, because Will bun Jada left, right, center, north, east, south, west. So Jada sleep with August for bun back Will. August actually got permission from Will to date Jada, and they spoke this. So this is not me, I make it up. They spoke it. So you can't go slap the man that you gave permission to sleep with your wife. They also stated that at that point in time, they were married but not together in a kind of, they claimed that it was an open relationship. People stated that because of the amount of bond what Will did give Jada to make it look good, them say they were in an open marriage. That's why that happened. Right? So that is why he didn't slap August, because you cannot give the man permission to sleep with the wife and then go slap him. That not work. That does not work. It's like you tell your son, go take the ice cream, and when you take the ice cream, you're licking on it and I say you shouldn't touch your ice cream. No, you tell him to go take him ice cream. That is why that argument does not compute. That's why that argument does not compute. Let's see. Send him back to him aunt or uncle in Bel Air. Colleen. Colleen says bun for bun. Shermet says enough about August. He didn't rape her and it was an entanglement with permission. Exactly. Bob says August was the son's boyfriend and both Will and Jada to August for their son. I understand. That part I understand. And Sharon says he laughed till he saw Jada's face and didn't want to face her at home. That part too. But yeah, August was Jaden's friend. And apparently, August was supposed to be healing at their home. So one can argue that Jada took advantage of August. August catch feelings. And all of that happened. But bottom line is Chris Rock shouldn't have made the joke. He knew she had alopecia. He knew she was sensitive about her situation. Nobody would have made a joke about somebody with vitiligo. Nobody would have made a joke about somebody having cancer. Nobody would have made a joke about somebody having any other diseases. Nobody should have made a joke about Jada having. And why was it the one thing that Jada is insecure about, the one thing that Jada has issues with, it's the one thing that Chris Rock decided to poke at. Yes, he's a comedian, but at the end of the day, things happen. Hey, if sexual healing is what worked to make him whole again, obviously it worked because he's got a girlfriend now and he's good. So, so that's just my little take on it. It don't look good. And I'm not gonna go say, oh, he blighted the culture and he did this to Black people and all of that. Let's see. Bob said the funny thing is if Will didn't slap Chris, no one would have said anything about the joke. True that. That's very true. But the part for me that I had issues with is the fact that Samuel L. Jackson got Sharon said, you ever watch the Oscar without someone being picked on? Yeah, but nobody has ever been picked on regarding their illness. Everybody gets picked on. Nobody gets picked on regarding their illness. That's the difference. You don't pick on a cancer patient and joke about the cancer or joke about somebody who had a heart surgery, pick on them about something that does not relate to an illness. That's okay. And Dwight, hey Dwight, how are you? Thanks for checking in from across the border. How do you know that Chris knew about Jada's condition? Okay. I don't personally know that Chris knows about Jada's condition. But what I do know is the Oscar is scripted. What I do know is comedians do research when they're writing their jokes if they're going to pick on somebody. That's what I do know. So if you're going to write a joke about somebody's hair, the one thing that they've stated that they're battling with, that they have issues with, may I go look by your side eye. Me I go look by your side eye. So the one thing what you know say me no like about myself, the one thing that I stated I do not like, the one thing that I stated that I have issues with is the one thing you could see to pick on. And this is Jada came out in 2018 about her battle with alopecia. So from 2018, she's done several interviews. She stated at her red table. She stated why she was wearing head coverings. She stated the she she on several different TV shows across the country to state that you're telling me that Chris Rock didn't do any kind of research. You just walk up and start, something's off. The one thing what I don't like, coming from somebody that them and I let's see. Nah, Dwight says he came late to this, and that joke was not her rehearsed. And Bob says they rehearse all the two speculations to that. One, they're saying that Chris Rock didn't write the joke, and if he didn't, I can see that. They said it was I think Robert Young who wrote the joke. Not quite sure. Again, lots of speculation. They're saying that if he didn't if it wasn't a part of the teleprompter, it wasn't a part of the script, that means he riffed it right there and then. So there's a whole lot of speculations coming from left, right, all over the place. Who knows exactly what? There's only two things for certain. He did the joke. He got slapped. That's the only two things that's known for certain. Anything around that, it's all speculation. We all speculate. We all have our different opinions on what happened or whatever. So Will shouldn't have slapped him, but the joke shouldn't have been made. But what's done is done. I'm sure Will would, this is one time he would probably rather, be able to go back in time and say, hey, what the hell did I do? You didn't do or whatever. So it is what it is. It is what it is. They will continue to not like each other. And it worked out for Chris Rock because his comedy shows weren't selling. They're now all sold out. Win-win for everybody. Anyways, I am moving on from this conversation because I saw on Dear Pastor recently a topic that I would like to discuss. And it says that my boyfriend said my private parts was ugly. No, Chris and Jada had an entanglement in the past. Possible. There's a possibility. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. But okay, so since I have guys and girls on here, so ladies, chime in. What would you say or do if your boyfriend told you that your vajayjay was ugly? And men, would you have the courage to tell a woman that their vajayjay is ugly? And the other question is, what's an ugly vajayjay? What is an ugly vajayjay? Me want to know that. Because I don't know what's an ugly vajayjay, but this lady writing to Dear Pastor saying that she's 25 years old. She in her 25 years of age, she's had 5 different boyfriends, and her last 2 boyfriends were good lovers. The earlier ones, and I played around because she was young and she didn't understand. She's always said that she wants to get married and all of that stuff. She said her 4th boyfriend proposed to her, but she had to reject him. He came from the ghetto and was still living there. He did not have any money, and throughout our relationship, he was traveling on the bus. Whenever we were going out, he had to borrow his brother's cars. Many times I had to pay for dinner. So I knew that he could not be my husband. He was a good guy, but not good enough for me. My siblings used to tease me about him. I never embarrassed him. He used to give me gifts and was always calling me. I finally told him that a relationship could not continue because I was interested in another guy. He did not believe me. And one evening when we were together, I called the guy, put my phone on speaker, and he heard the guy's voice and said I embarrassed him. He then believed what I meant when I told him that I was moving on. What I'm about to tell you now is rather embarrassing. It took 6 months for me and the new guy to go to bed, and he embarrassed me by saying that I have the ugliest private part he has ever seen. I asked him what he meant, and he repeated by saying it is very ugly. None of the other guys ever told me that. I went to see my gynecologist and I told her what my boyfriend said. And I asked her what I should do. She said, I'm a normal girl and nothing is wrong with my vagina. I told my boyfriend that I went to the doctor and what the doctor said, and he was alarmed that I took him seriously and sought help. I told him that I didn't want to lose him, so I will do anything to please him. He's just having a big laugh about the matter. But the doctor said that I'm normal, and that is what's important to me. So she's asking Pastor if she's ever had to deal with it, if he's ever had to deal with a situation like that before as a counselor, because she's now traumatized because she was told that her vajayjay is ugly. Sherman says about him, a big man that me would leave his ass so far. Actually, you know what? I'm not even laughing at the fact that he called her vajayjay ugly. I'm laughing at the fact that she had a perfectly good guy that was working with her. And whether the vajayjay was ugly to him or not, he never made a comment. Him just work with what she have. But she didn't like him because he came from the ghetto in poor, and if him have to borrow him friend car to go up on date, and sometimes she have to pay for dinner and all of these things. So she leave him to somebody who embarrass her and tell her that her vajayjay is ugly, and now she need counseling. No, she need counseling. But I feel sorry for her. I honestly, I feel sorry for her. That's, So ladies, let me know. Would you leave that person or would you stay with somebody who told you that? And guys, would you have the courage to tell a girl that, her vajayjay doesn't look good? But what's an ugly vajayjay? They won't all look the same, but what's a ugly? Is the man in the boat too long, too short, not long enough? Like, what's a ugly vajayjay? Enid says that good for her. That's true, because she had a perfectly good guy. She decided that she didn't like him because he was poor. He wasn't from the right family. Sherman says, because I would be helping the next person in line, please. Right, fams? Next person. Next. It's ugly. Next. But she's sitting there and she gonna get traumatized. But it's funny how that's her 5th boyfriend. So she's had 4 boys before. One who actually proposed to her. They never found anything ugly with her. But she's hung up on this one guy that says her part is ugly. Can't you look at the fact that 4 other people liked it, worked with it, and it was okay with it? Never had any issues with it? Except for this one, leave this one. But I don't know what's an ugly vajayjay. I've never been told that mine is ugly. But if somebody ever stupid enough to do that, me and them, I go have a problem. Me and that person go have a problem. So I don't know what's ugly, but I'm just saying. Bob says beauty's in the eye of the beholder. True that. I guess it is hot in his eyes. It's ugly. But I don't know. I don't know. But ladies and gents, that's it for tonight. It's my first time back after a few months off. I took a little longer than I anticipated, but I'll see you again next Thursday at 9 p.m. Same time, same place. We'll find other interesting topics to talk about. I'll be bringing you other important news stories, other weird stories, and all of that stuff. So, see you guys on the flip flop next Thursday at 9 p.m. Same time, same place. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. Love y'all. Bye-bye.